Hello and welcome to another action-packed, exciting hour of the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Rewatch Along Project. This is podcasting the way it used to be and the way you like it. This show is a production of the Something Else Podcasting Network, and it is episode number 113 of Smoky Mountain Wrestling from March 26, 1994, tape March 7th, 1994, at the Dungannon Elementary School in Dungannon, Virginia. My name is Arya, and joining me, as always, is the Caitlin to my Vicky Guerrero. It's Trey. Trey, how the hell you doing today?
I'm trying to figure out why I'm Caitlin, what that even means.
I don't know what made me think about this earlier today, but I was randomly thinking about NXT season 3, and Vicky Guerrero was Caitlin's pro, and Caitlin went on to win. So, like, I'm mentoring you to success.
She had pretty cool
Of
entrance music.
Of course, the story was that Vicky hated Caitlyn. And also Vicky's original Vicky's rookie, excuse me, was supposed to be that super tall woman that ended up being cut
Oh
because
yeah, yeah,
she had fetish
uh-huh,
photos of her or something.
yeah. You
They
remember
tried to
season
cover it up.
two when they fucking made LayCool Loki's coaches? Like,
I mean, that was the Miz coaching Daniel Bryan. It was meant to piss off smart fans.
there was always one that was the rib.
Yep. They kind of stopped that once they got to season 3 because I mean they didn't use any of their name indie guys on NXT after that point.
I think by season three, just NXT itself was a rib.
Which is funny because that's when I started reviewing the damn show for the Observer website. I told this story. Dave posted in the Daily Update he needed someone to either do Ring of Honor on HDNet or NXT on WWE.com, and so I emailed him volunteering to do Ring of Honor, and he's like, why don't you do NXT instead?" Like, I'll
Is that like how
try, I
I?
guess.
Is that like how I volunteered to do TNA and ended up doing Mid South World Class and Smoky Mountain?
Well, I actually, yeah, because you volunteered second. It's exactly how that happened. Can you imagine? Can I be honest? Like, I don't know. I think we would have fun doing TNA together, but I don't think, I think you'd be looking for an out if we were doing TNA together instead of Mid South World Class and especially Smoky Mountain.
We would have fun making fun of it. I wouldn't have as much fun watching it as I do watching this stuff.
Yeah. So I got to watching two-thirds of the good shit. And
And
even the
world
one
class.
third, even the one third that isn't good shit, it's like occasionally you get a Gino Hernandez promo.
Yeah. Hey, well, Cornette and the Midnights are going over when they finish up here. That'll be a nice 6 months. Or what is
There
it?
you
It's
go.
it's a few
It's like
months,
6 months.
5 months.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's five,
like
six
six
months. Yeah.
months until they end up in Mid Atlantic over in Crockett. Anything you want to say about the passing of Ozzy Osbourne?
Oh, you know, that's he was 76 and he's Ozzy Osbourne. Like it's almost kind of shocking like that he's mortal. I just kind of assumed that he was like your ex and he was going to be among the living for all of eternity. But Ozzy passed on, and it. Hey, he people were remembering on Twitter today his several WWE moments. Being in the British Bulldogs corner at WrestleMania 2 up
The
toward
British Bulldogs forever.
up toward the much later stuff. But I would like to remind everyone that his greatest contribution to professional wrestling was giving the song Iron Man to the Road Warriors.
There you go. Um, was it Davey or Dynamite that took the bump off the top rope to the floor, and like the other one was consoling them while Captain Lou and Ozzy were celebrating in the ring, not caring that one of the team members were injured?
I don't know, but just hearing you describe it, I'm gonna assume it was Dynamite.
I assume it's Dynamite, but part of me is like, it might have been Davey, but because this is before Davey got all jacked. Now you can all make assumptions how Davey got jacked. Um,
Mm.
and he was a bit more. I mean, he was considered a junior heavyweight at one point, so
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
But
I can't say that I know Ozzy's entire discography, but when I was like in high school, me and my boys, we would ride around in the truck and fucking jam out to like Rock and Roll Rebel, Paranoid, Iron Man, Bark at the Moon, like fucking Ozzy, man, a musical legend. Like even if it's not exactly your bag, it's fucking Ozzy. He's a legend. R.I.P.
yeah, yeah. He was. I forget what pay-per-view he did, what SmackDown pay-per-view he did, but he was on SmackDown once performing the theme song for one of the pay-per-views. So,
Yeah,
I mean, there's that. Um,
yeah.
and yeah, I was mentioning to you earlier, not that this is a great segue, but it's like when I was younger, I had a bit of a crush on Kelly Osbourne.
Hmm. Understandable.
Yeah, she was an attractive young lady. In fact, I'm sure she still is. I haven't really seen what she looks like for like a decade or so.
It
Um,
just petite brunettes just turned my brain to jelly. So yeah.
really, I
Mhm.
I was unaware of that. Um,
I mean, it's particularly maybe petite is not the right word. Short and thick and brunette.
I knew what you meant. You know, you like them a little on the smaller side, height wise.
I mean, you've seen
Um,
photos of my wife.
I have.
Yeah.
I was not implying anybody or anything else, regardless of what we'll talk about, like within like I'm sure 30 to 40 minutes. Um,
Yeah.
but before we get to Trey, uh, hoping that his wife never listens to the show, which so far, hey, we're lucking out on that one.
She won't.
Um,
I promise she won't.
let's go to the intro of the show with Bob and Dutch.
Welcome to another exciting action-packed hour of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Professional wrestling the way it used to be and the way you like it. Hi, wrestling fans. Welcome again. I'm Bob Caudle along with Dr. Dirty Dutch Mantell. We got a great hour in store for all you wrestling fans. Dustin's got a very special down and dirty he's going to be telling you about. We're going to look at a video featuring the Thrillseekers. We got a championship match between the Dirty White Boy and Killer Kyle.
Excellent match, and on Down and Dirty today, a full examination, like you said, Bob, a full examination of the controversy surrounding the Rock and Roll Express and the Heavenly Bodies, and it's coming to a ball April the 1st in Pikeville. Right now, of course, people last week saw a new TV champion, Mike Furnas, crowned, and right now his opponent, as is my duty every week right here, I'm going to draw a name out of the hat for Mike Furnas' opponent, and it is this week, Mike Sampson will face Mike Furnas today here on Beat the Champ contest, Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
All right, fans, going to be a great hour. We got a lot of action, so don't you go away. Right now, let's go to the ring.
All right, so in case you're wondering who that was talking, we'll get to that in a second. But somebody wasn't informed that they tend to tape an intro to the show, and they should probably shut up doing their ring entrance. But today we're gonna have down here. We're gonna have Dirty White Boy versus Killer Kyle for the Smoky Mountain title. And I'll be honest, because like again, it's become like a running joke that Down and Dirty with Dutch, they only have like one of four acts on the show, and this week is one of the four, the Rock and Roll Express. And so I went into this really not expecting much, but oh my God, is that a incredible fucking segment that we have to talk about later today?
You were kind of alluding to it last week that this Cage loser leaves town deal like didn't really feel earned or relevant. Boy, did they make the fucking hard push for it this week.
I mean, this is the go home show,
Yeah, it is. It
which
is.
like they it's funny because like I don't know if, at times it felt during the show like they didn't know what day this was versus the Bluegrass Brawl. Because it didn't feel like a lot of times that they were really pushing hard that it was this Friday night. Like they kept saying April 1st, April 1st, April 1st, but unless I mean, okay, if I'm sitting here in my house on March 26, 1994 watching the show, I know April 1st is this Friday. But when I'm sitting here, 30 years later, it's not hitting me that April 1st is this Friday, because they're not really, in my opinion, they weren't really hitting it hard at times. They do at different points, and especially during that Down and Dirty segment we'll get to, they really hit the show hard.
By the way,
And then,
WCW, you have exactly 7 years to live from today.
oh Jesus Christ, yeah.
Yep.
Which is funny because we go 7 years before this. Well, not to the day, but pretty close to it. Was when oh my God, what the hell are their names? Oh, Randy, Bill, you beat the Gladiators.
Oh, the
And
Bulkamania?
yes,
Outstanding.
Randy, Bill. It's like, oh, that was tremendous. Maybe one day we'll talk about the Malkies.
Maybe.
Um, So remember in like when speaking of actually, it's like you kind of knew where I was going here. Speaking of WWF buying WCW, remember when they brought in Shane Helms? They're like, well, we already have Shane McMahon, so you have to change your name, and so he became Gregory Helms. I think Mike Furnas needs to change his fucking name because we already have somebody else on the show named Mike who's been on the show longer, even though his appearances are much more sporadic. But still, I don't think we should be allowed to have two Mikes. And so, with respect to the veteran, Mike Furnas should have to change his name here before his match with
See,
Mike Sampson.
I think out of respect for his brother's wrestling career, he should just call himself Mike.
Maybe we should change both names because we've already had a Furnas on this show too.
What can his name be? Glub. His name is Glub now.
That's better than anything I was going to come up with. Oh, I have to now write this down so we can call him this week, which is going to make watching Glub more interesting that we give him a nickname. And I don't think Glub will really last much longer.
I don't think he does. Oh, we'll
Although
talk
maybe we
about
should,
it. But
maybe should we save that name for when Brian Anderson comes in. Um, but all right, so we go to our opening match, which, as you might have been able to tell by listening to the people talking on the way to the ring, it's El Hijo del Santo versus Bobby Blaze.
wait, what? Oh no. It's that was last week and the week before.
Yes, I made this note last week just so I could say it to pop you, and you're like, wait, what?
I'm
Like
sorry.
for 2 seconds, in Trey's head, he's going, "Did I watch the right show? Did
No,
Arya
okay.
watch the right show?"
Yeah, my brain went to, did she watch the wrong show again?
Hey, the one time I watched the wrong show, I caught on, before we recorded the damn show. So,
That's true. That's true.
um, all right. So the real match is Jason West versus and Bobby Blaze, versus Timothy Well and Stephen Dunn. They are the team of Well Done. And Well Done is not happy, apparently, and I think reasonably so, because they announced last week that if the Heavenly Bodies lose at the Bluegrass Brawl, all of the Heavenly Bodies' future tag team title matches are being taken up by a team that has never teamed before, at least on television before, Chris Candido and Brian Lee instead of them. Because, I mean, if the Rock and Rolls lose the Thrillseekers, who are just as inexperienced in this company as Well Done is, they're getting the title match. But Well Done is being passed over. So I think they have a very legitimate right here.
Much like the Big Cat Ernie Ladd on Mid South this week, I believe Well Done have a legitimate gripe. Yes, they had definitely have Brian Lee and Candido have teamed because they did the house show loop with Tracy and Dirty White Boy, but they never teamed on TV. Well
Yeah,
Done have won several matches on TV.
at least two.
Well Done have won more matches on TV than the Thrillseekers.
Yeah, the Thrillseekers have only won one. And we're still
Yeah.
billing them their match at the Blue Cross Brawl as their debut somehow. Which I guess they meant their debut in Johnson City, but we're not Johnson City. It's Pikeville. But, they should actually say that because by saying their debut, it's like, well, didn't we just watch them last week?
Oh, first time don't go into Kentucky for the Thrillseekers. You know what that means.
It means that Jericho is about to take credit for something that Ron Head did.
The moment is nearly upon us.
So, and by the way, this is not the only time on this episode I'm going to talk about Ron Head. So, and actually, I think it might have already happened. But I guess ultimately it doesn't really matter. But anyway, during the match, the team of Well Done was drinking water in between spots. And of course, it is important to stay hydrated during matches. Yeah. Cottle informs us that the team of Well Done has signed for a match with Lance Storm and Chris Jericho, the Thrillseekers. I bet that will be a real dandy. What do you think?
I just remember Lance talking about those matches, and he's like, at one end, you got Jericho, who's been like, he's going back and forth from fucking Tennessee to Japan and Mexico. He's coming back wanting to go 110 miles an hour. On the other end, you got Well Done, who were very Memphis 101, and you got poor Lance trying to find them somewhere to meet in the middle.
Which, Lance has had as much experience in wrestling as Jericho has at this point, to the day. So it's like, Lance is not exactly the ring veteran to be putting the match together.
No, I don't mean that. I know you're not putting it down. I'm saying that, like,
Lance is having to find the middle ground, but he's not, I'm saying, like, he's not the seasoned veteran that, we all know Lance Storm to be, that he's going to, like, find it an easier way to, get these two sides together.
You're right, but let me make my point here. The point I was getting at, the differences in experience. Because Jericho, he's been to Mexico and he's learned a lot from fucking Negro Casas. He's been to Japan and Germany. Lance has been in Calgary learning from fucking Jerry Morrow and those guys. He's learning a different style of work. He's the one best suited to draw these disparate styles together, even at this point.
True that. So Mr. Well pinned West with a double DDT. I don't think Blaze was in the match at all.
I don't think so.
Like he made a. Yep.
Well done staying hydrated. These are high-level professional athletes. They are prepared for success, and that is why they were successful here. This match was well done.
Maybe if Bobby Blaze and Jason West had been, drinking some water or even some Gatorade during the match, the electrolytes could have gotten Jason West pumping and through that double DDT spot.
Well, I think it's just Well Done. We're so well prepared that they kept Jason West cut off from his tag team partner. If he could have made the tag to Bobby Blaze, it could have been a whole different match. Bobby Blaze is a former Beat the Champ TV champion.
Indeed. Now we've discussed the heat that Thrillseekers got for stealing the Rock and Roll Express's finisher and one-upping it. Do you think Well Done should have done the double poon salt? I'm not even sure how they could have pulled that one off.
I'm trying to picture it. I don't know.
It would have been difficult. But let's see here. We had a recap of the Dirty stripping Primetime Brian Lee last week. And let's go to promo with Dirty White Boy and Dirty White Girl, who still have Brian Lee's pants after a week. Poor Brian Lee.
All right, fans, April 1st, Pikeville, Kentucky in the clothes match. These two right here, and you just saw, hey, Dirty White Boy, you and the White Girl got a little head start last week.
Yes, we did, and I got me a $60 pair of Ray-Bans out of the deal, too. Don't they look real good on me prime time? Got your armband, and I got these big drawers that belong to you. But come April the 1st, Bluegrass Brawl, it's a back alley brawl. Let me go over it one more time to you, prime time. Pinfalls don't count. The only way that you can beat us is you've got to strip me down, you've got to strip her down, then you can win. But to tell you the truth, I just gave you an example last week, exactly what we've been preparing for and what's going to happen to you. And little Miss Tammy Fitz, white girl, what do you got to say?
You know, white boy, if she wrestles as bad as she smells, she's in a whole lot of trouble. But I promise you, when I get my hands on you and I'm tearing your clothes off one by one, I promise you, I'm going to rip a little hide too. And it'll be one night in your life you won't forget. I promise.
That's it. April the 1st. Get ready. Bluegrass Brawl. It's all coming to a head. See you.
All right, fans. Right now, let's.
So we didn't mention this last week, but I bet Brian Lee is more pissed than you think about having his pants stolen and ripped up like this. Because, Brian Lee is a tall motherfucker. It is not easy for him to buy pants, especially in 1994. And so they took his pants and tore them up. It's like, if I was Brian Lee, I'd be mad. That's one fewer pair of pants he has now.
Hey, as a large man who has trouble buying pants, I'm on board. Yeah.
Yeah. Now I didn't actually look at the results, but I'm thinking the finish of the clothes ripping match are the heels win, and then after the match, white girl strips Sunny.
Do not know. Maybe we'll find out. By the way, Kim had no way of knowing this, but I'm pretty sure Tammy doesn't remember most nights of her life.
Although maybe she knows, because they're shooting a little bit back and forth at this point, with Tammy going back and forth between hotel rooms and what have you.
Oh, is that already happening? I didn't think that happened until she met Shawn Michaels.
I'm sure, the Heartbreak Chick was getting some practice in here.
I'm sure
especially since she's still not formally managing Chris Candido yet. That's still coming. So, well, she's got to do something while he's wrestling Tracy Smothers every night for $2,500.
Yeah, we're gonna come back to that.
So then we get TV champion Glub versus Mike Sampson. So I have a theory.
What's your theory?
I'm not even say poor Glub, but yeah, it's poor Glub. I have a theory. I suspect that Glub stole Dutch's hat and filled the hat with all the schmucks and schmoes of Smoky Mountain. And that's how we got Mike Sampson instead of, I don't know, Killer Kyle having a double title match this week, or anybody else for that matter.
Do you think Glub is that clever?
I think maybe just saying it is funny. I think Glub's brother may have planted the idea in his head.
Maybe. Yeah, if Jim Ross were here, he would have said this was bowling shoe ugly.
This was not this was not a good time to plug the Smoky Mountain Wrestling School, and I don't think they did. I didn't write when this week's plug was, but yeah, I don't think hopefully they did not plug the wrestling school during this match, because this was not a good example of Tim Warner training people.
I'm sure they didn't, because the match only lasted 42 seconds. But it was a long 42 seconds.
Well, Glub won with the only move he knows, which is a football tackle. At least this week, I'll say this. This week's football tackle is at least a little better than last week's, because at least I understood what the hell he was doing this week. Last week just looked like he was running shoulder first into Killer Kyle, and Killer Kyle got knocked out. This week,
it still looked like he didn't fucking connect with it.
I mean, this week at least he got a little bit of air. It wasn't like a very pretty wrestling move, but like he kind of went diagonally a little bit. So it's like, okay, it's something. He needs a lot more ring time at this point. I don't know if putting him on TV every week for 42 seconds is really the best idea, but everyone has to start somewhere.
He's supposed to have been training, and this angle started in October. He's probably been training for 4 or 5 months. He has learned 0 wrestling moves. The only move he knows is the move he learned in football.
I mean, it tells you something that they don't even trust him to lock up. And here's the thing, me and my zero ability to take bumps, I can lock up. And you know what else I can do? I can run the fucking ropes. Now, mind you, I've not been in a match, so admittedly, I don't know what it's like to have to run the ropes during a match, but I'm going to bet Mike Furnas's rope running during practice is not a whole lot better.
Glub, what are we going to do with you?
And it's funny, it's not like Glub is doing all these house shows. It's like he's only done, before this run, he's only done the 4 matches with the Heavenly Bodies. The 3 over Christmas Chaos, and then the Sunday Bloody Sunday football helmet match. Until this point, that is all the matches he has had in his career. Which, I mean, I look at these Smoky Mountain results. They do like the opener with Killer Kyle defeating Anthony Michaels, for instance. It's like, why isn't Glub on there, wrestling a 5-minute opener?
Yeah, sorry. You were kind of. I heard most of what you said, but it was like the popping in and out, so it was very disconcerting. But yeah, he doesn't stick with this very long.
No,
I don't think he's on TV very much longer, and he doesn't stay in the business more than he doesn't last even the year. I don't think.
No, if he's ever worked outside of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, it's such small potatoes that it never made the cage match. Cage match has him doing 15 career matches, and the last one is a TV match taped on May 2nd, 1994. And I can't tell you what the match is because it spoils stuff we're going to see over the next 10 or so weeks.
That's even sooner than I thought.
Yeah.
I was thinking October. He's gone in 3 months.
Oh, God. No. Yeah. He's only got he's got 4 more TV matches. And he only has 4 other house show matches. So Mike Furnas, actually, I apologize. I lied. He has 5 house show matches. So Mike Furnas's career ends in 9 matches.
I just saw who his next Beat the Champ defenses are.
Yeah. Judging by this, I'm not expecting a rave review of Glub in the next few weeks. But hey, you want to know an improvement from last week? They didn't give Glub a microphone. Hallelujah. Because that was my biggest fear that was my biggest fear we were going to hear from Glub. By the way, allegedly, and maybe I just misheard them, Mike Furnas's shitty country theme song is apparently the University of Tennessee fight song.
Yeah, Rocky Top, Tennessee. Yeah.
Jesus
I'm sorry,
Christ,
I did the song.
That is a bad fight song. When you think of a fight song, like something like peppy and spirited and yada yada yada, this is like, meh.
Yeah, it's just I think the song is older than the university.
Well then what the hell's wrong with the University of Tennessee? Anyway, let's go to something much better than Glub, a Bullet Bob promo, because even on Bullet Bob's worst day, where he could be hanging upside down by his ankles, I guarantee he could cut a better promo than Glub. Let's go to Bob now.
April 1st, fans, it's coming in a hurry. The Bluegrass Brawl, Pikeville, Kentucky. This man right here, Commissioner Bob Armstrong of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, has laid the law down as far as that's concerned, right?
That's right. That loser leave cage match.
Yes, sir.
Now, Rock and Roll Express has given me their word that if they lose this match, not only will they retire from wrestling, they'll take their boots off and put them in the middle of the ring and retire forever. They're good men. I'll take their word for it. As far as those heavenly bodies, I made them sign papers. And no amount of money, I don't care how much money Cornette's mother's got, she ain't got enough money to bring them back. No mask, no returns, no appeals. If you lose, you leave. That's the answer to that. And as far as you, Cornette, I've got to wrestle him in some mystery partner in a handicap match. Now, he's called names like Okazuma and people from the WWF. He's even said it may be somebody not even involved in professional wrestling. But I'll tell you this. I am tired of wrestling Jim Cornette. I'm not going to be wrestling him 20 years from now. On April 1st, isn't that fitting?
Oh, yeah.
On April 1st, April Fool's Day, I intend to close your bugle mouth once and for all. And how fitting, on April Fool's Day, you'll be the biggest fool of all, Cornette, and I'm going to see that it's done. So bring anybody you want. You can bring a lumberjack. I don't care if it's Godzilla. I'm going to find a way to get to you, boy. And when I get to you, the next time I see you, you'll be talking through gums where your teeth used to be, because it's about time you got finished once and for all. And finish you is what I'm going to do in Pikeville. April Fool's Day, brother. I can hardly wait to get my hand on that blabbermouth idiot. Wow.
Well, you heard him say he's going to make a fool out of Jim Cornette.
All right, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Bullet Bob may have been the worst promo on the show this week. And Trae is so gobsmacked that I would say that he can't unmute himself.
I forgot to mute. I'm sorry. I have a new dream match. Imagine this. Imagine the headline. Imagine this bill on Madison Square Garden. Okazuma versus Glub.
I think Glub might draw just because as long as no one knows who Glub is. And hopefully Glub pisses off Yokozuna as much as those jobbers do when Yoko doesn't protect them on the bonsai drop. He just lets go and just murders them to death.
I'm sure Glub is a very nice man. I'm sure he pays his taxes and uses his left and right turn indicators.
Actually, I did lie. This is not the worst promo on the show, but Bullet Bob is on the low end of promos on this week's show, which tells you something, because it wasn't a bad promo. Just it
wasn't bad.
Fucking promos.
It wasn't bad, but it was bad for Bullet.
He did say that we're gonna have a loser leaves cage match. So, like, does that mean that the winners have to stay in the cage?
Well, the losers will definitely leave the cage. The winners have the option.
Okay. So I was worried that the Heavenly Bodies might have to stay in the cage after Friday night. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to spoil the big loser leaves town match.
Damn it.
Hey, obviously the Heavenly Bodies have to win, because I can show you the last episodes of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. The Heavenly Bodies are on those shows. Spoiler alert. And Ricky Morton is definitely not on those shows. So what does that tell you?
It's hard to dispute that level of evidence. You're right. I got nothing.
Yes. It tells you that the Gigolo scalped that woman that time before SummerSlam '95. Do you remember that story? That there was like some goth woman that was kind of hitting on Jimmy Del Rey and Tatanka, and she woke up one morning like with her head half shaved and flipping out because the Gigolo did it to her.
Was that the story?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's the thing. I just heard something alluded to with Jimmy Del Rey and Tatanka and a woman, and I assumed it was something much worse.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was worse than that, but like that's the part that I remember of it. But like it feels a little extreme to get fired from the WWF for shaving a rat's head. But maybe I don't know. Maybe it was just it's like one of those things that, like, you do something stupid when Vince is in a shitty mood, like how Crime Time got fired that time. It's like
fucking poor Titus O'Neil got suspended.
Yes, for being like ladies first, and like even Stephanie's like, yeah, now's not the time to do ladies first, Titus. But all right, so yeah, Bullet Bob, he's not worried if Jim Cornette's gonna bring in Akazuma, but he plans on making Jim Cornette the biggest fool of all on April Fool's Day.
He's going to make him watch Corner Gas?
What was that?
He's going to make him watch Corner Gas?
I think Bullet Bob would enjoy Corner Gas. You know?
Probably. It's a very good show.
Yeah, maybe we could have him watch the same 2 episodes we watched.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think we can get in touch with him anymore, though.
Probably not. Maybe we could reach out to Dixie Dynamite or the Road Dog and see if they could fill in instead. Is Steve still alive? Maybe we get Steve to fill in.
Brad is gone. I don't think. Yeah. I don't think that Steve has died.
Yeah.
Does Scott still work for WWE?
Maybe.
Or was it Steve? Or was it Steve that was a referee for WWE?
No, it was Scott.
Okay. Scott is still alive, by the way. He is 60 years old.
Well, that was the one we were asking about. I was saying Steve.
Steve is still alive. He is 60 years old. Scott is also still alive and is 64.
And Brian is also still alive, and he is probably
56.
around that age, probably 57. So
56.
Yeah. So after the Bullet Bob promo, we get our first Jim Cornette promo. Let's go to Corny right now.
All right, fans, here with us right now, Jim Cornette, and just a couple of minutes ago, Bob Armstrong was out here, and he's had some real strong words to say.
Oh, I guess he did, and I guess that everybody now sitting home can see that everybody's against the heavenly bodies of Jim Cornette, all the way to the upper echelon of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. I knew as soon as Bob Armstrong got back in the commissioner's chair that he would institute all kind of biased rulings, set up all kind of crooked politics, all to get rid of Jim Cornette and to get rid of the heavenly bodies. Well, I got news for you, Bob Armstrong. First of all, the Rock and Roll Express, they're your fair-haired boys, but they ain't going to be around here very long. As a matter of fact, the heavenly bodies are not even going to come out here today because since everybody is against them, they know that they're liable to be attacked, crippled before the match takes place, and nobody will do anything about it. So the bodies are standing in the back, but Rock and Roll, I've got some ideas about you, brother. And I think you'll find out that when I have ideas, they generally come to fruition. Now, as far as Bob Armstrong goes, you wouldn't be talking so big and so bad, Mr. Commissioner, if you knew who my mystery partner was April 1st in Pikeville, Kentucky. Sure, he may be a WWF superstar. Sure, he may be somebody from Japan. He may be somebody like Kevin Sullivan or Abdullah the Butcher that travels the world. Or he could be somebody that's not even a wrestler, Bob Armstrong. And I want you to think about that possibility. Because I got a lot of contacts, both in professional wrestling and around the world. And I could have drug up the meanest, baddest, toughest man from somewhere that you wouldn't even know about. So I want you to think about that, Bob Armstrong, because that has been my mistake up until now. I've let you know ahead of time what you were in for. Well, brother, you are going to be counting your blessings if you get out of that thing with all your teeth intact and your head on your shoulders, because I know who's coming, but nobody else does, and you won't, like I've said before, until it's too late, which, by the way, will be April 2nd.
All right, fans. Bluegrass Brawl, Pikeville, Kentucky, April 1st. That's the date. Hey, one of the most...
All right. So, good promo with Cornette here. And I mean, it's obvious that it's not a name wrestler coming in because, you know, we've been through this. If it's going to be somebody with a name, Cornette's going to plug the shit out of them, you know, to make a few bucks. And we've already discussed who it is last week. So if you want to be told, go to last week's show, or I'm sure in like 12 seconds, Trey will just say it. But, yeah, so Cornette's mystery partner is coming in this Friday night in Pikeville, Kentucky.
Cornette was wearing that lovely plum-colored blazer that I talked about on Tuesday here.
Yeah. Tell you what, there's a lot of flashbacks of Tuesday's show on this week's show.
Yeah,
you know,
continuity. That's why you need to listen to both.
Yes, because this is the most listened to of our 3 shows typically. So if you have not checked out the Tuesday show yet, go check out the Tuesday show.
Yeah.
It's like almost repetitive and redundant and repetitive and redundant. And then occasionally there's stuff on that show that coincides with this show.
This has got to be the worst we've buried an episode of Mid-South.
Oh, easily. Easily. And that includes like those shows early on when like it'd be a 50-minute show. They'd have an angle in the first segment, and then the rest of the show would be standby matches and no interviews.
Yeah, those are rough.
Yeah. So yeah, he vows that Bob won't be talking so much shit if he knew who Cornette was bringing in. And I mean, it's possible that Bob wouldn't be talking any more shit because, Bob may be like, okay, we're bringing in this fella.
I don't know. Look, Bob ain't fucked up about Okazuma coming in. Who the fuck is he going to worry about? Okazuma's the WWF champion. Who's scarier than him?
Okazuma is not the WWF champion. Bret the Hitman Clark is the WWF champion.
Okazuma was the WWF champion when Bob cut that promo.
That is true. Okay. So I'm starting to get mad at you, Trey, because you promised a third Thrillseekers video, and I couldn't even tell you what a third Thrillseekers video would be because they re-aired the second Thrillseekers video again after last week where they re-aired the first Thrillseekers video.
Well, you can blame Christopher Michael Irvin for that mistake because he wrote it in his book.
I will. I will definitely tweet at Christopher Michael Irvin to complain to him that he lied in his book. Although
it is Michael, isn't it?
What was that?
It is Michael, isn't it?
I honestly don't know. I'll take your word for it. Although if you look up Casey O'Connor back in 2007, what was that?
Christopher Keith. I should have known that. Christopher Keith Irvin.
Why should you have known that?
Because you remember Broken Matt Hardy and the Brother Nero, and it was the thing where he would call people their fucking middle names. He did Jericho's podcast in character and kept calling him Brother Keith.
Oh, I did not know that. Honestly, I probably listened to like 5 of Chris Jericho's podcasts ever.
I listened to it up until he had dipshit McTrigger Fuck Jr. on.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I mean, his wife was there on January 6th. Anywho, so after the second Thrillseekers video got replayed for the second time, the Thrillseekers come out for a promo, and we'll get to it here, but good news, the promo is better than it was last week. Ish. Let's go to...
Yeah, it was a better promo.
Yes.
Go ahead. Please.
Ish. Let's go to Chris and Lance.
The Thrillseekers, Lance Storm, Chris Jericho. All right, Lance, hey, you two guys are fantastic, and already the Smoky Mountain Wrestling fans are taking you to heart.
That's right, we really appreciate it, and we also understand that there's a chance we could be in the tag team picture already. Should the Rock and Roll Express lose the Loser Leave Town match with the Heavenly Bodies, which I personally don't think is going to happen, Chris and I wish Ricky and Robert the best of luck. We will fulfill their contractual obligations. That's not the way we want to do it, and that's not the way we think it's going to go down, because we want to earn our shot here in Smoky Mountain Wrestling on our own merits.
Well, I think you certainly can do that, Chris.
Well, Bob, let me tell you, Robert Gibson and Ricky Morton are big influences on us. We really, really admire them, and we know that they're not going to go down at Bluegrass Brawl. But even if they do, that's not how we want to get our title shots. We want to earn them the old-fashioned way, the Canadian way. We're going to show everybody that the Thrillseekers deserve a title shot on our own, and pretty soon you will see the Thrillseekers get some title shots. Isn't that right? Isn't that right?
All right, fans, these two right here, you're going to hear from them, and you're going to hear a lot about them. The Thrillseekers. We'll be back right after we take this time out.
Okay. So it's still better than last week. I think right now we might have to institute a 30-second rule for them, because it's like when you get to that 30-second point, like you had with Horner, and this is unfair because Horner had a lot more years experience to do this. 30 seconds is when they start to get the uhs and ums, and Chris Jericho decides to start yelling. And
you could see in Lance's eyes how awkward he feels.
Oh yeah, Lance is not Like, this is not Lance Storm. It is, but this is not Lance Storm. And Jericho, as he described in his book, he thinks that a good promo is making sure that people are reacting to every word you say at this point, and is doing the let's yell to show good energy and get the crowd going, equals good promo. And yeah. Do you think his best promos would come when he never raised his voice an octave?
Oh, yeah. That 2008, 2009 run.
Yeah. Which led to everybody else becoming serious promo wearing a suit guy.
Yeah, fucking think about wrestling, man. If it works for one person, everybody's got to do it.
Well, you remember there was like a 1 or 2 week period of WWF in like 97 when Austin was taking off, when suddenly everybody started cursing on the show and whatnot, and like they basically had to tell him, okay, that's Austin's thing. Stop fucking cursing on our fucking show, assholes.
I remember, and the person that I'm going to talk about is persona non grata in the wrestling business for well-deserved reasons now. But Mike Quackenbush wrote an excellent book called 7 Things Every Pro Wrestler Should Know About Performing or something. And he made the point that, like, whatever, name a band. Black Sabbath. R.I.P. Ozzy. If you're nobody's favorite band is a Black Sabbath cover band. Right?
No.
You understand what I'm saying? If everybody wants to be Stone Cold Steve Austin, the people are just gonna have Steve Austin. That's why you need to be you.
Yep. That's why Rock Hard Rick Austin didn't draw 15 cents in Chinese money.
Mm-hmm.
But I also thought it was kind of funny, and Jericho talks about this in his book sometimes. It's like he keeps talking about how they do things the Canadian way, which may not be the smartest thing to say here in the Smoky Mountain regions, which, in case you're not sure where Dungannon, Virginia is, it's in America, not to confuse with Canada. And the baby faces are telling us how much better the Canadian way of doing things is.
Write that down. Virginia is not in Canada. Learned so much on this show.
I know, right? What would y'all do without me? Have something better to do on a Thursday morning, I guess. So up next, we have basically an 8.5-minute episode of Down and Dirty with Dutch, but we're breaking this down into 3 parts. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to pitch you to at first. I'm just going to press play. But I got to tell you, I remembered this happening, but I did not remember this happening until Dutch started talking here, if that makes any sense. But let's go to Dutch, and we'll be back in about a minute to talk about this part of it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Down and Dirty with Dutch. I'm Dr. Dutch Mantell. And before I talk to my special guest, write this date down. April the 1st, Pikeville, Kentucky, the Bluegrass Brawl. The world is watching. Not only fans in Smoky Mountain, but fans all across the wrestling world. Before I talk to my special guest, I want you to hear some comments from some big-time promoters across the wrestling world. And also, we're going to talk to the Heavenly Bodies and Jim Cornette. Watch this, and we'll be back with my special guest.
Hello, Smoky Mountain Wrestling fans. I'm Eddie Marlin, the promoter for the USWA Wrestling. And every promoter in the country, including myself, is real interested in the outcome of the Bluegrass Brawl at Pikeville, Kentucky, the match loser leave town between the Rock and Roll Express and the Heavenly Bodies. Both of these teams are great teams. That match could go either way, but I want either team, both teams, to remember the loser of that match leaves Smoky Mountain, and you're more than welcome to join us at the USWA. I want to wish both teams good luck, but remember the loser, remember the USWA is waiting on you.
Now, just where are the World Wrestling Federation officials headed after WrestleMania? Why, it's not to Disneyland. It's to the Bluegrass Brawl on Friday, April 1. It's the Bluegrass Brawl in Pikesville, Kentucky. And imagine this in the main event, ladies and gentlemen. the Heavenly Bodies against the Rock and Roll Express inside the steel cage for the Smoky Mountain Tag Team Championship. And on top of all of that, the loser must leave the Smoky Mountain region. Well, how about that? Smoky Mountain's loss is going to be the World Wrestling Federation's gain. Because here in the World Wrestling Federation, we would welcome either tag team into World Wrestling Federation action for sure. Why, we would even welcome Jim Cornette himself. I mean, here's a guy who feels he's a combination of Rhett Butler, Ted Turner, Red Barber, and Colonel Sanders all rolled into one.
Okay. Did you have any fucking idea that Vince McMahon was going to be on this week's episode of Smoky Mountain Wrestling?
I got to tell you, when I saw Eddie Marlin, I thought to myself, well, that will certainly be the most random appearance on this show. And boy, little did I know.
Yes.
Anyway,
as soon as he said, like, promoters all over the world, I'm like, oh my God, this is when Vince is on the show, isn't it? And sure enough.
So, I assume everyone listening to this knows who Vince McMahon is. For those of you that don't know, Eddie Marlin was he was a wrestler going back to the 60s. He was Jerry Jarrett's father-in-law and therefore Jeff Jarrett's grandfather, and was for many years the on-screen authority figure on Memphis TV.
And Vince, by the way, taking time out of his trial prep to cut this promo. Two things. How many times do you think Cornette had to tell him the name of the show is the Bluegrass Brawl and the name of the town is Pikeville, Kentucky? Like, where is the World Wrestling Federation going? To the Bluegrass Brawl in Pikesville, Kentucky. Vince McMahon has never been to Pikesville, Kentucky at any point in his life.
I think Vince's mind is like a steel trap for things he cares to retain. So he probably retained Bluegrass Brawl and Pikeville, Kentucky for a minute to cut the promo.
I thought you were going to say he had to take 10 takes on this promo.
Oh no, I can't. No, Vince did that shit in one take. Come on.
Or Bruce was off camera holding up a white board.
That's possible, actually.
But ultimately, like, see what you want? That was a pretty fucking cool moment. You know?
Yeah.
Like, obviously, like, they were going to get Bischoff on the show, but it's like, or Heyman, but it's like, hey, you know, they're like, yeah, somebody's going to have to leave Smoky Mountain, but it doesn't mean, well, I guess the Rock and Roll Express have said they're going to retire if they lose. But it doesn't mean they have to. They have options. And, yeah.
By the way, you mentioned that they're not going to get Heyman. I just want to mention, for those of you that haven't heard the Oh My God cast yet, the Bruise Brothers were in fact billed as the Team Too Violent for Smoky Mountain Wrestling in ECW.
Oh darn! But by the way, did you have any idea who the hell Red Barber was? I had to look him up. And I'm the fake sports fan. No, not Red Butler. He said Red Butler, Ted Turner, Red Barber, and who was the other one? He said Colonel Sanders. So
okay,
Red
I don't
Barber
know who Red Barber is. I know who everybody else is.
Yeah. Red Barber, I guess, is a sports announcer back in the day for the Dodgers. And he died in 1992 at the age of 84. So, of course, Vince knew who that was.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So from there, we're going to go to a Jim Cornette and Heavenly Bodies promo. And for 2 minutes and 50 seconds, it is the best promo on this show. For 2 minutes and 50 seconds.
Well, at the risk of spoiling all the TV ratings today, I want to inform you people that the Heavenly Bodies will not be seen live and in color on television today for the simple reason that the Rock and Roll Express, being those noted back jumpers and backfighters that they are, we're afraid that they might try to do something dastardly and evil before the Bluegrass Brawl April the 1st to try to get an advantage. But I assure you, Rock and Roll, we got news for you. It ain't going to happen that way. We got a few tricks up our sleeve, and by the time April 1st rolls around, you're going to be at a definite disadvantage. Right, Gigolo?
You're exactly right, Corny. Rock and Roll Express, my cousin and I, that's right, we're cousins. You two, you're not family, so you're not as tight as we are. We've got one heck of a game plan coming for you on Bluegrass Brawl. Let me tell you something, guys. On your way there to Pikeville, you better stop by at that U-Haul place and get you a nice big trailer, and we'll be more than glad to help you load it up. Ain't that right, cuz?
Yeah, and you know, speaking of family, Jim, we had a nice conversation with your mother just the other night.
Right.
We not only promised you, but we promised her that we won't let you down. We're not going to let her down. We have a special bonus in it for us, Ricky and Robert, when we defeat you in Pikeville on April 1st. We are the Smoky Mountain Tag Team Champions. We rule Smoky Mountain Champions.
Right.
We are the greatest tag team that ever came down the pike, whether it be in any organization you want to mention. But right now, our main concern, the entire wrestling world is looking to see if the Heavenly Bodies can pull it off. They're all asking the question, can the Heavenly Bodies finally put the end to the Rock and Roll Express? The answer is a definite yes. And you, Ricky Morton, and you, Robert Gibson, will take off your boots in the middle of the ring like you said you will, and you'll throw them out to the crowd, and everybody will have their souvenirs, and we'll walk out the champions that we are.
April the 1st, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson at the Bluegrass Brawl in Pikeville, Kentucky. It's inside a steel cage, and all the marbles are on the line. The Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team title, and the losing team has to leave Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Now, we could go anywhere, sure, that's right.
That's right.
But you, Rock and Roll, you say you're going to take your boots and your tights off and throw them out to the crowd and never wrestle again if you can't be in Smoky Mountain Wrestling. April the 1st will mark the end of 10 years of my life.
That's right.
10 years of hatred. 10 years of frustration. 10 years that I've chased you, Morton Gibson, across this country trying to put an end to you.
That's right.
And finally, it's going to happen because you will be out of Smoky Mountain Wrestling and professional wrestling when you lose the match inside the steel cage at the Bluegrass Brawl, and it will be the happiest day of my life.
Okay, there's a phrase in wrestling that we've tossed around on the show called a money promo. That is a money promo. That was a fucking promo that we finished building the time machine so we could go back in time to go to this show to see the Heavenly Bodies versus the Rock and Roll Express and the loser leaves cage match at the Bluegrass Brawl.
Yeah, man, they did the hard push and they did it all the way. I mean, Cornette cuts promos like this in his fucking sleep, I imagine, but goddamn, it was great.
Oh yeah, I imagine, and I think Cornette was with his first wife at this point. I imagine if we interviewed Cornette's first wife, she could tell us about the promos Cornette cuts in his sleep. I'm not sure Stacy could tell us too, but you know, somehow I think we have better luck getting Cornette's first wife on the show than Stacy.
Probably.
Yeah. By the way, the Heavenly Bodies, and they brought it up that, you know, in storyline they're cousins, which, you know, was a storyline, but I can't say they dropped it, but they never really mentioned it after the first few weeks. They brought that back up again here, kind of as to remind you that, hey, these guys are blood. And, you know, that they may be not really a thrown together team, but they were not the first Heavenly Bodies tag team. They've only been together about 10 months. But, you know, these two have been together forever, been together a lot longer than 10 months, just not on camera. I will say they're hell of a nice guys, because what do they tell you? That when the Rock and Roll Express lose, they're going to get a U-Haul and help the Rock and Roll Express pack their stuff. That's a really nice thing for them to do.
That is just going above and beyond the Call of Duty. Like, that's like a best friend territory.
I know. Do you think the Rock and Roll Express are going to do that for the Heavenly Bodies if they lose?
Ricky seems kind of spiteful.
Yeah. And I don't know if I trust Robert carrying my valuables. You know, he may be putting a lamp down on the table and miss the table. You know, through no fault of his own. It's not his fault that, you know, he's, wrestling and watching Tom Pritchard with one eye and following a fly with the other one.
See, I have moved with a blind woman 5 times over the last 15 years.
I thought you're going to say you moved across the street and 3 houses down.
I did that once too. 2 houses down.
I'm sorry. So if you ever had to move back, would you be moving across the street and 2 houses up?
I'm not moving back.
Okay. Well, the Heavenly Bodies are not going to be on this show this week, which of course made you think they were going to be on the show this week, but they're not on the show this week at all.
They are not. You know why they weren't on the show this week?
Because they were probably in like Japan or something.
They were in Denver, Colorado, wrestling the Bushwhackers.
I love the idea that the Smoky Mountain Tag Team Champions had something better to do than be on the show for their go-home show to the big show coming up. It was to wrestle the Bushwhackers in Denver.
They probably got paid more for that match than they would have for the whole weekend in Smoky Mountain.
Oh, I'm sure. By the way, my friend Lauren texted me, said, you know why Tinkerbell died? Because she didn't believe enough in Joe Hendry.
Silly.
Yes. By the way, she is not a wrestling fan, but she fell down a Joe Hendry rabbit hole, and well, now we have something to talk about. Like literally, the only wrestlers she knows are like Batista, The Rock, and John Cena because they're all movie stars. And now she knows Joe Hendry.
My wife's favorite wrestlers are Dalton Castle and Timeless Tony Storm.
Yes, but your wife watches wrestling.
No, she doesn't.
Sometimes.
The fuck she doesn't.
She has to at least watch it at some point to know who Dalton Castle and Tony Storm are. Like those aren't the 2 people that's like,
okay.
Oh, I'm walking down the street and I see like Dalton Castle. She had to at least watch it at some point.
Okay, the reason that she knows Dalton Castle is that we were at the Ring of Honor TV taping where he debuted. Because she liked to go to Ring of Honor and slap the barricade, right?
Hey, it was fun.
Yeah,
I pushed a child out of the way to get to the barricade once, and I was not a child.
She's always liked Dalton Castle, and then it was like she likes promos, right? She loves Paul Heyman because the promos, he's a genius, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But with Tony Storm, it's me going, oh, you're gonna fucking love this, listen to this, and she does. Honestly, seriously, if she is sitting in the living room and I go in there and turn wrestling on, she will leave the room.
Maybe you should lie to her and say that Tony Storm and Dalton Castle are wrestling on every segment.
She can hear, dummy.
I don't know. If you wanted to, I don't know how blind she is. Like you said, she's blind, but I mean, like people are blind, but they can still see because you're just legally blind. But I mean, like. If you wanted to mess with her and just wanted her to be there with you while you're watching wrestling, cue up some audio of, Excalibur doing commentary for a Tony Storm match, and then you turn on, you turn on like G1 or something, and
she doesn't give a fuck about commentary though. She just likes promos. Play some Tony Storm promos.
Well, find like a YouTube video of like an hour of Tony Storm promos. Honey, I don't know why she just keeps talking and changing subject every 3 minutes, but here we are.
You're really committed to be pranking my wife, aren't you?
I mean, I did want her to prank you on the other day, but I couldn't make that happen. So remember when I said that Jim Cornette and the Heavenly Bodies were about to cut the greatest promo on this show for 2 minutes and 50 seconds? It's now time for what happened immediately following 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Let's go to Down and Dirty with Dutch with the Rock and Roll Express.
Okay, fans, you heard it. My special guest right now, Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson, the Rock and Roll Express. Pikeville, Kentucky, Ricky, probably the toughest match you've ever going to have. It's a losing team leaves Smoky Mountain Wrestling inside a steel cage, and the titles are on the line. Your comments, please.
You know, Dutch, I've had so much on my mind for the last several weeks, and to come out here and tell all these fans how I really feel, I'm so confused it'll probably come out like scrambled eggs. You know, and hardly been able to sleep at night. Last night, I sat down and I wrote a letter, and I want to read it to all you fans out here at Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and you too, Robert. And if you bear with me just for a few minutes, I'd like to read it to you, please. You know, when I first came back to Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and I reunited with Robert, you know, it seems like all my life, that's what I wanted. You see, I'm no different from nobody else, Dutch. I made mistakes in wrestling and in my life as well. Robert Gibson could have said no, and he could have told me to get lost, but he didn't. And for that, Robert, I'm grateful. And I knew the moment that I walked through the curtains in my first match back together with Robert, I realized then my place in life. But now we are with probably the toughest match that we're ever gonna have. Through the years opposing with Jimmy Cornette and his different teams, never has more been at stake than right now. April the 1st, Pikeville, Kentucky. In Bluegrass Brawl, we're all gonna lay all the cards on the table. Inside a steel cage, nobody in, nobody out. The tag titles on the line, and the most important thing about it all is the loser's gotta leave Smoky Mountain Wrestling. And I'm gonna be truthful with all you fans that I don't know if we're gonna win or not. And if we do lose, I'd like to tell you all you fans, thanks for the great times and all your support for making my days in Smoky Mountain Wrestling happy. I'm speaking only for myself, Robert, because I love you just like you're my own brother. And if we do lose, my career is over. Not only will I leave Smoky Mountain Wrestling, but I'll never put on another pair of wrestling boots. This feud has taken a lot out of us, but for 10 years, and I mean 10 years, Jimmy Cornette, we have been at each other's throats all the way from Texas to New York City. But now it's come to a point that one of us is going to leave in a blaze of glory. We have run a good race. We fought a lot of good battles. But I think Robert and I still have one good one left in us. And if I'm not able to tell all you people out there goodbye, I'd like to thank you, and may God bless you all. Thank you very much.
Hey, brother, I know we got one more good one left in us, brother. Let's do it, bro.
Okay, fans, some very heartfelt words from the Rock and Roll Express. Don't go away. Remember, April 1st, Pikeville, Kentucky. The world is watching.
All right. This, we said during the Jim Cornette promo that we finished our time machine so we could go back in time and go to this show. During this promo, we finished our time machine to go back in time to watch this show. And if Jim Cornette tries to interfere in that fucking match, we're going to jump the guardrail and beat his fucking ass. Like,
I was so appalled when he started reading from a prepared statement, and I assumed Lance Storm was watching from backstage with great interest. But by the end of this, holy shit.
Yep.
God
Yep.
damn.
It's like I am an easy crier, so I was not shocked that, I was welling up with tears. But yeah, like this promo, like if you didn't know the finish of the Bluegrass Brawl, this promo for like 1 second made you think, oh my God, they're going to lose. Like this is him saying goodbye, even though he can't say goodbye just yet. Because, you don't want to spoil the finish of the match. But he's saying goodbye to the fans because he's leaving.
It's very authentic Ricky Morton here.
Yeah. And it's like, Robert, Jesus Christ, Robert's looking at him like, oh my God, dude. You're really going here. And I know we've seen some version of this match approximately 147 times. But God damn it, I need to go see it 148th time now.
Yeah, let's go. First up. Do we have a list somewhere of all the Smoky Mountain shows that we need to go to with the time machine?
I think all of them might be a good one to start with.
There you go, that'll work.
Yeah. All right, so that was something. So, Trey, I got this. I don't ask me how this segue came up. I just made a note of it while I was talking to somebody during one of the promos. Are you allergic to anything?
No, not really. Like,
Okay.
other than just like general fucking sinus shit, I don't have any like medicine or food allergies or anything.
So, anytime I remember talking to somebody and we're talking about, meeting up to go get dinner or something, they always ask me, are you allergic to anything? And until a few years ago when I had my surgery, I did not know I was allergic to something. And it turns out, that dye they give you before an MRI? I'm allergic to that dye that they give you before an MRI
Okay, how did you figure that out?
because I had an MRI and they
Like,
injected
was
me
it
with the dye.
what was the reaction like? Is what was your reaction to it
Uh,
like?
like I got very flush. And like I was like, because they had me laying down on my side on the bed or whatever, and they injected me with the dye, and I had to lay in a weird angle where like I had my arm over my head, so my face got very flush, and I got very tingly all over. And I guess even though my face felt flush, I went pale as a ghost. And they're like, "How do you feel?" And I'm like, I thought about lying because I mean, like, I figured, okay, it might just be my arm in a weird position that I'm not feeling it well. I'm like, I don't know about this, and we kind of figured out that I was allergic. And I was freaking out for a bit, but obviously, hey, I'm a-okay. But yeah,
I'm not allergic to
um,
that stuff because it just did to me what it does to everybody, which is make you warm and then like it feels like you're peeing even though you're not.
I don't remember that sensation.
You
But
were focused on other sensations.
that is true. And anyway, I tell people before any dates that I have, it's like we're good as long as you don't take me for a surprise MRI.
Yeah, so my
Which,
wife has very, very significant food allergies, and they, for a few years, from about like 2019 to maybe like 2023, her diet was so limited, and it, like, she never tried to limit my diet, but when your
mhm.
partner is limited, it fucking limits what you
Yeah.
eat. It just does.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah. So finally she's been doing like first it was like 3 times a week. It was 3 times a week for several months. And then it was like once a week, and now it's once a month. She gets these allergy shots and she's able to like she won't mess with peanut butter. Like she's scared. But like there are a few things that she's particularly afraid of. But like the general stuff, like yes, like she's allergic to gluten, but she can eat it now.
hmm Um, my my immortal ex, uh, what was he allergic to? He was allergic to something stupid, and now I want to go and force feed him whatever the hell that was. I want to say it was like something like onions or something.
Hate onions. Hate raw
Yeah.
onions. Don't mind cooked onions.
So if anyone goes and sees my ex, tackle him to the ground and feed like a handful of onions down his throat.
Okay, as long as we're completely off topic here, do you have like food aversions, like something you just can't do?
I don't know, nothing I can't do because like even like I don't like Brussels sprouts, I don't like asparagus, but it's like it's one of those things where it's like okay, if I'm in a
Right.
situation where I kind of am forced to, like I'll do it, but I don't know if I'm necessarily aversion to it or whatever.
See, there are people who like to make fun of people with food aversions because they think it's just that. They think it's just, oh, you don't like something. It doesn't taste like your everything. No, motherfucker. It's when you put something in your mouth and you start chewing it, and every fucking alarm bell in your brain starts saying, abort, abort, this is not food. That's what a fucking food aversion is.
Okay, okay.
Anywho.
I'm afraid to ask, but how did this come up?
Uh it came up earlier and it was on my mind, and I just wanted to say it on the podcast, just in case anybody listening is one of those assholes who likes to mock people for their food choices.
Okay. We do have some true assholes out there, so if you're one of them, there you go. By the way, we have some breaking news. All Ego Ethan Page has come up with a more Canadian version of the NXT North American title belt.
Oh,
It's
that sounds
basically
awesome. I want to see it.
the strap is a Canadian flag.
Oh, excellent. I have unfortunate news that isn't really breaking news, but Gabe Kidd will in fact have to forfeit his match against Shingo Takagi tomorrow.
What? No.
They haven't said he's out of the tournament yet. The hope is that he's going to be back at some point in the tournament.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, being 0-3 in the G1, I'm thinking even if he comes back for match 4, it's like, I think, if there were any plans for him to make the playoffs, they have to really turn the rest of the booking on its ear to get him up there. He'd have to win out and then probably still need some booking help, even with 12 points at this point.
Remember the 1 year that Minoru Suzuki was like behind on points and he said he was just going to give everybody food poisoning, so he won the block?
I wish Minoru Suzuki would have done that, just because that would be like a true Minoru Suzuki thing to do.
Very.
Oh,
Not a true Minoru Suzuki thing to do would be to break all their legs.
Hey, you didn't see what he did to that sex doll over WrestleMania weekend.
I sure didn't.
If anybody could have an entertaining match with a sex doll, it was Minoru Suzuki. But yes, now that we're done talking about Minoru Suzuki and sex dolls, which we always do on this show. Now as a step down from all the other promos we've seen in the last 10 minutes, let's go to a Tracy Smothers promo. Poor Tracy Smothers.
All right, and fans with us right now, and Tracy, we got a look right there at what happened last week in the ladder match on Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
Mr. Cottle, before I get to that, I think I can speak for myself, all the fans out here in Dungannon, Virginia, and the millions of people at home. I hope the Rock and Roll Express strut and stroll all over Jimmy Cornette's heavenly bodies and run them out of here. Now, Chris Candido, you're a tremendous athlete, man. We've had these ladder matches all over the area. Some of the most brutal matches I've ever been in my life. You all saw what happened last week, but it's been like a slot machine, man. I win one night, he wins the next night. Man, I'll tell you, it's back and forth. It's all coming to a head. Bluegrass Brawl, Pikeville, Kentucky. I still remember in Christmas Chaos when you cost me my shot at the Smoky Mountain Heavyweight title. This is my chance for revenge. Maybe you can beat Tracy Smothers, but you can't beat the wild-eyed Southern boy and the millions of people out there and all them good people in Pikeville, Kentucky. Candido, I'll see you at Bluegrass Brawl.
All right, fans, and that's going to be April 1st. Right now, let's take a look.
Okay, so yeah, we're having another $2,500 ladder match with Tracy Smothers and Chris Candido. We questioned it last week, what was going to be on the line, and sure enough, it is the same, I think, $2,500.
So they're just passing the same $2,500 back and forth.
And it's Chris Candido's $2,500.
I just... Okay, whatever. Just dumb. Kind of dumb. It's a little dumb if you think about it. And I like to think about things, so I don't like things that are dumb when you think about it.
I can't wait for like 10 minutes from now. So Bluegrass Brawl 2, the famous final scene this Friday night. Basically the only match that they didn't that they mentioned here that you may not have known because they didn't really go hard on the plugging was the Thrillseekers versus Timothy Well and Stephen Dunn, the team of Well Done, which by the way doesn't even happen. I think Jericho is back in Mexico because Lance Storm wrestles both of them in 2 singles matches.
Jericho, I think it is Mexico. It's weird because right now he's like still going back and forth to Japan and Mexico, so it's a little.
The funny thing about Lance, like, he wrestles both guys on Friday, and I think he gets married on Saturday.
Oh wow! So he got married back in Calgary, right? So did he go from fucking Pikeville to Calgary?
If I was to bet, he probably got married here in the States because she moved down here with him.
Surely they would have got married at home before they fucking moved to another country, though.
I don't know, except, I mean, without, calling up Lance Storm and asking him for the specific date he got married, he's always implied that his wedding is around this. Actually, it may actually be next weekend because according to Cage Match, he wrestles Timothy Well on Saturday in Barberville. So I'd like to think Lance Storm, despite wanting his career to move to the next step, of course, he wouldn't wrestle on the day of his wedding. I'd like to think.
I mean, but when my wife and I got married, we were living in Mississippi, but we still had our wedding in Arkansas because that's where all our fucking family was.
Not just a regular family, but your fucking family.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jericho. Where the hell are you in April, Jericho? Let's see. Beginning of April. So he's actually on his way back from Japan. So it's possible. Oh no, actually, because that day he's wrestling in War against Jado. So yeah, he's not going to be making it back in time for Bluegrass Brawl 2.
Trying to think of a joke. Jado and Gato, well done. There's something in there somewhere.
By the way, this War tour is called War Island. So
awesome.
Yes. And by the way, after doing the next TV taping, which is on April 4th, spoiler alert. So yeah, he wrestles in Japan on April 1st, Clinton, Tennessee on April 4th for the TV tapings. And then April 6th, he's in Acapulco, Guerrero, Mexico, wrestling in CMLL in a 2 out of 3 falls match with El Dandy and Emilio Charles Jr. versus question mark, and El Tejano. And that's not just me not wanting to mispronounce names. That's how Cage Match has it listed.
On the note of people going on war tours around this time, I have not yet located the singles match between Stan Lane and Ultimo Dragon, but I have located a tag match, Earthquake and Stan Lane versus Mil Mascaras and Ultimo Dragon.
That sounds like quite the match.
It sure does.
Yes.
I haven't watched it yet. I just don't. I have to convert the DVD and everything.
So from here, we're gonna go to a promo with Daryl Van Horn because we have some news coming up that's going to impact us here on Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Let's go to Daryl right now with the great news.
Fans, with me right now, here's Mr. Daryl Van Horn. I saw that grin from ear to ear. I understand somebody said you got great news for all the wrestling fans.
That's right, Bob Caudle. I told everybody last week on television that Prince Karras had finally gotten signed to a Smoky Mountain Heavyweight Championship match. And there's been a title change since then, so I'm sure it will tickle your prostate to know that the man Prince Karras is facing is none other than the Dirty White Boy. Well, Dirty White Boy, this serves 2 purposes. Number 1, it's going to put the gold around Prince Karras' waist, just like I promised. Number 2, it's going to allow him to get a measure of revenge against you for what you did in Thanksgiving Thunder.
When you stepped in the ring to protect Tim Horner from any further injury, you opened a Pandora's box. I told you the revenge of the Pharaohs would rain down on you, and now it's going to happen. Also, I've been getting him prepared. I've been doing all kinds of things. We've added an opium den to the Prince's chambers. He's been watching snuff films all week, getting mentally prepared for this match in April. And you know, a lot of people, Bob, say, well, Van Horn, you come out here and run your mouth. Why doesn't the Prince get out here and talk? Number one, why should he talk? You're a bunch of peasants, a bunch of slaves and trash. He speaks an international language, though, and it's called pain, and it works like this. When you have a little puppy who has missed the newspaper and hit the floor, you can get in his face all day long and say, bad dog, but it doesn't make a bit of sense. But if you grab that mutt by his hind legs and crack his head up against the wall, or maybe kick him in the ribs, it's going to register to him that you mean business. And dirty white boy, that's what you have to look forward to. A housebreaking at the hands of Prince Karis.
Oh, let's go to the ring, fans.
It's the truth, Bob.
Better than last week.
He was not on the show last week. When was
See?
he actually last? What?
When was Felching the family dog? 2 weeks ago?
I think at least 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
But it had to have been a while since he was on the show because he's like, oh, since I talked about this last week, we have a new Smoky Mountain champion. Like, I get these TV tapings are taped, they tape a month of TV tapings, at a time. But, we've had a Smoky Mountain champion, new champion now for like 6 weeks. Honestly, when he said we have a new champion, I honestly thought he was going to say Prince Karis because, of course, he's the champion. And then Coddle was like, oh, he's not the champion yet. He's like, oh, just give him time, Coddle. And, yada, yada, yada.
Maybe, how, like, in Mid-South, like, some cities were further back on the fucking tape cycle. So, like, Little Rock was 5 weeks behind. Maybe Daryl Van Horn lives in a town where Smoky Mountain TV is 6 weeks behind, and he just found out.
That would be tremendous. Like, he shows up for the TV tapings, doesn't even pay attention to know, what else is going on in the company until it shows on his TV in 6 weeks.
He has to handle a fucking thousands-a-year-old mummy. He's got shit to do. He ain't watching fucking Horsehead wrestle.
Poor Horsehead. What did Horsehead ever do to Daryl Van Horn? Actually, I know what Horsehead did to Daryl Van Horn. Daryl Van Horn is literally Horsehead's manager on TNA.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
The Disciples of the New Church. Yes, listen to yesterday's TNA show for a shockingly enjoyable episode of TNA. Vince Russo must have been sick. So do you think Ruben tried to get Cornette to put the title belt on Karis?
I bet when Ruben actually saw Karis, he wasn't as gung-ho about the idea anymore.
And this might explain why Karis's matches haven't been that great, because he's training to wrestle by watching snuff films.
That's
Now he mentions what he might do to the family dog. I'm not even going to talk about that. But do you think, because like, why is Bullet Bob Armstrong giving Prince Karis a Smoky Mountain heavyweight title match? Do you think it's possible that he gave Prince Karis a title shot in exchange for Karis not being Jim Cornette's partner at the Bluegrass Brawl?
I think Daryl Van Horn just kept fucking calling Commissioner Armstrong, and he finally did it just to shut him up.
I'd like to think he was calling Commissioner Armstrong. So he's 6 weeks behind. So he was calling Commissioner Armstrong after he'd already lost the commissioner job. And Bob's like, watch the show.
He kept trying to call Mama Cornette's man on the board, and that's why it took him so long to get Prince Chris the title shot.
There you go. Um, so it's time for our Smoky Mountain Heavyweight title match. It is the Dirty White Boy with the Dirty White Girl versus Killer Kyle, who does not have Jim Cornette in his corner. Because you would think, like, I know Cornette has bigger things to worry about right now, but his man is getting a Smoky Mountain title match, and he can't even be bothered to be in his corner.
That's it's too bad. We haven't
Now
seen
you
Cornette with
messaged
Kyle
me.
in like a year.
Yeah, I think the last time was actually during the build up to the Rage in a Cage.
Yeah.
So you
I
texted me
messaged you.
earlier today because you had watched this match before I did, and you were not pleased with the finish. So I came into this like, oh boy, I wonder what the finish of this match is going to be. And I'm like for Trey to be angry, it had to be more than just a run in for the DQ. It couldn't be a top rope DQ or an over the top rope DQ. It had to be something. And I'm like, now, so the referee gets bumped at one point during the Pam Lawson plug. Kyle elbows White Boy, and White Boy falls to Mark Curtis, and Mark Curtis is knocked the fuck out. And at one point, White Boy throws Killer Kyle over the top rope, and I'm like, okay, is this what Trey's mad about? That like they're gonna do a finish, but then send out a referee to say, oh no, White Boy threw Kyle over the top rope, and it's gonna be a dusty finish, reverse decision, DQ, which would be kind of stupid because Killer Kyle is not about to go into a feud for the Smoky Mountain title. But then they did something that I swear they only did because Trey and I talked about it happening on Mid South earlier this week.
We
Proof
sure
that
did, didn't
Jim
we?
Cornette had the temporal ham radio and listened to us before booking this show.
This was just to troll
Um,
us.
yes. So Killer Kyle is like a 6'1", 6'2" African American man who wrestles in a dress shirt and slacks. And he's wrestled in a dress shirt and slacks since episode 1 of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. This is his look. It has not changed at all. So, primetime Brian Lee is 6'6". He weighs about 270 pounds. And he is shirtless, he is white, and he is wearing his own pair of slacks. Oh my God, now I'm just going off on a tangent here. Can you imagine if primetime Brian Lee had switched slacks this run in?
Uh,
Oh my God, it's not that funny, but just in my head, it's hilarious.
also, if you think about it, if you know that these were taped on the same day, that's at least his second pair of pants today.
And he switched it with Kyle, and it's 3 pairs. Anyway, so Killer Kyle, they do a heel miscommunication spot. Kyle gets thrown over the top rope. And we get the finish where Dirty White Boy gives primetime Brian Lee the Buck Snort Blaster, and Mark Curtis wakes up and counts the pin. So in the match between Dirty White Boy and Killer Kyle, Dirty White Boy retained the title by pinning primetime Brian Lee.
That is the most infuriating chokeslam that I saw all day, and I am currently watching a loop of The Undertaker chokeslamming Trick Williams on NXT.
Spoiler, I guess The Undertaker chokeslammed Trick Williams in NXT.
Yes, The Undertaker chokeslammed the TNA World Champion.
Well, I mean, I kind of knew something was going to happen because they've been promoting all week that Undertaker was going to confront Trick Williams in NXT.
It's just imagine any other time before this year saying The Undertaker and TNA World Champion in the same sentence.
The Undertaker defeated former TNA World Champion AJ Styles in his last match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, but he didn't know that.
You're saying he didn't know that he was a former TNA champion, or you know that was his going to be his last match.
He didn't know. He didn't know who the fucking TNA World Champion is.
So I do have some disgusting news here. Killer Kyle appears to not get another shot at the Smoky Mountain Heavyweight title ever. I don't.
Well, he doesn't fucking deserve one.
That's a lie. Time out. I apologize. In 20 episodes, he's gonna get a shot at the Smoky Mountain title. Spoiler alert.
6 episodes? Did you say 6 episodes?
20.
Oh, 26. 20?
No, not 26.
So like,
20.
20? Okay.
Yes.
Sorry.
Episode 133 in Saltville, Virginia. But by the looks
And
of
he's
it,
still
that
salty
match,
about it.
yes, that match does appear to have a clean finish. So I guess you have that to look forward to.
We shall see.
In a very loose phrase. But like, yeah, didn't we just discuss this on Tuesday? There was an episode of Mid-South from late 81, early 82, where Bob Orton interfered in a tag match and got pinned to lose the match.
Yep.
Oh,
the worst
Lord.
part of this, I liked this match up until then. This was like, they only went a couple of minutes, but like they were fucking brawling. This was a Vinny V special, a mean guy match. And then, okay, so 2 stars for the portion of the match that I liked, minus 5 stars for the rest equals negative 3 stars.
Minus 5 stars.
Exactly.
By the way, did you see WWE is interested in bringing in Leyla Hirsch as a referee?
I did. And I don't know. Hey, what that other, what's her name? Jamie, one of the other lady refs that's wrestling on Evolve now. Like, you know, it could. I just gotta say, like, I'm not gonna say that AEW misused Leyla Hirsch. I'm just saying that, like, you know what? Every booker has those talents that they just have a soft spot for. Leyla Hirsch would always have a spot in my territory. I thought she was terrific.
By the way, after the match, Tammy was down there, so White Girl jerked her down, so Candido ran down to help Tammy scurry back. It'd be interesting if Candido scurried to the back. And he had to run down to ringside to do that. So they ran to the back as fast as possible so we could run out the first ever standby match in Smoky Mountain Wrestling history. There's been 113 episodes, and we have the first ever standby match in Smoky Mountain history. It is Fire and Brimstone, the Infernos, versus the Rock and Roll Express. So yes, Ricky and Robert were not good enough to be on the main show this week. They had to be in a standby position.
No, that's not what that is. They got an hour of TV. Not everybody is on TV every week. Don't try to make it a fucking quality thing.
Well, I mean, it's not like, when Mid-South does I guess they just did the Fantastics this week. But typically when they do an expiration of time match, they're not running out, Junkyard Dog versus Butch Reed with 2 minutes left to go in the show. And I'm not saying the Infernos are as good as the Junkyard Dog, but, Butch Reed versus the Alabama Junior Heavyweight Champion Mike Jackson or something.
I bet if I looked through the Mid-South result, I would find multiple examples of a standby match being a star over a jobber.
Josh. Mark Curtis, it was the referee here, and I wrote he should not be allowed to referee this match when he was just knocked so loopy in the last match that he confused the 6'6" white guy with the 6'2" black guy.
Well, they only had the one referee.
I guess, maybe. I didn't actually look at the rest of the show. So Jim Cornette, he must realize that this must be his last. He must have realized this is Dutch's last taping, because Cornette had to pay his debts to Dutch. he came out and gave Dutch the $250 that he owes Dutch. And
Dutch is
once
just such a generous soul. He is always loaning money to friends in need.
like, remember when Candido,
Yeah.
gave him back the $200 he owed him? Yeah.
Yeah.
I, I'd like to think that somehow this is how that's going to lead to Dutch getting fired as the commentator. It's like taking bribes from the wrestlers.
Carlos Colon owes him $200. You got to go get it.
Yes. He told Dutch that he had a phone call, and I'm assuming it was the Puerto Rican office calling to confirm his start date. Cornette took over commentating because he wanted to see the Rock and Roll Express for the last time, before Bluegrass Brawl 2. Robert almost had the match won with a punch to the face, and so they really won with a double drop kick to around the face. So in ran Chris Candido and Primetime Brandon Lee for the attack. Rock and Roll took over and got the advantage until Tammy ran in with her purse, and the heels left the faces laying as the show goes off the air. So, I mean, we know why they're doing this. They're really just setting this up for the next feud because, spoiler alert, the Heavenly Bodies are losing the Loser Leaves Town match in case, somehow you thought otherwise. Ricky Morton's tears did not change the finish of the match.
Brian Lee, who was not booked in a match on this show, did 2 jobs on this show.
Yes. Brian, we talk about Terry Taylor being a little bitch on Mid-South. Brian Lee is pretty close to being a big bitch here. Oh, Lord. Yeah, so I mean, it's setting up the next title feud here in Smoky Mountain Wrestling, in case you're curious. And so 113 down, 87 to go.
And by the way, I was so confused when the Heavenly Bodies didn't come out to join the attack that was when I had to check KJUX to see where they were that day.
You had to see if they were in Denver wrestling the Bushwhackers or not.
Yeah.
I like to think because, Well Done had that weirdly random run in late '93 that no one remembers except if you're a dork like me who remembers everything. I'd like to think that Vince and Smoky Mountain had a trade, the Well Done for the Heavenly Bodies.
God damn, I'm still trying into that trade.
I don't even know who got the better end of that trade because it's not like he ends up using the Heavenly Bodies as much more than the 4th tier heel team.
Yeah, but he could have done more with the money. It's like, look at the fucking tag teams that he was pushing when they were there. It's like, Owen and Yokozuna, Owen Hart and Okazuma, who were a makeshift team. Like, the Head Shrinkers were good, but nothing against the Barter Billy, but the Heavenly Bodies are fucking better than the Smoking Guns.
I'd say that's how the Heavenly Bodies got their, one of their 2 pay-per-view matches. They were at the Survivor Series as part of the $1 Million Team against Guts and Glory.
Oh, how about that?
Which, by the way, technically, Tom Pritchard and Jimmy Del Rey defeated Lex Luger on a pay-per-view. Technically. Because the winning team was, the $1 Million Team was King Kong Bundy maybe by himself? Question mark? Because it came down to Luger versus Tatanka, Bundy, and maybe IRS. And Luger beat Tatanka, and then Bundy squished him for the win.
Squish.
And then Dr. Tom and Jimmy Del Rey had, I guess Jimmy Del Rey had his last pay-per-view match, the '95 Royal Rumble.
According to my notes here, Mabel pinned Pritchard. Mabel was counted out. Bigelow pinned Adam Bomb. Luger pinned Jimmy Del Rey. Tatanka pinned Bart Gunn. Bundy pinned Billy Gunn. Luger pinned Tatanka. Then Bundy pinned Luger. So your survivors were, what a hell of a team this was. King Kong Bundy and Bam Bam Bigelow.
Okay, yeah, I forgot about Bam Bam. I was thinking IRS because he runs in during the casket match.
Yeah.
You would think like somebody would have been smart enough to realize, wait, if Chuck Norris is in the aisle, doesn't that mean somebody could run in through the crowd? By the way,
Look,
as a kid, I thought that Yokozuna was going to win because the IRS put Undertaker out with a sleeper hold. Because, it's easy to make 10-year-olds believe that the Undertaker is going to lose to a sleeper hold.
I got
Um,
a comedy bit I got to send you after this.
oh, geez. All right, so before we finish things up, what else is happening in the world of wrestling? As we
Health.
mentioned earlier, we are a few months away from the trial of Vince McMahon and Titan Sports for conspiracy to distribute steroids. Will Vince go to jail?
No,
Cherry,
probably never.
Cherry may have to have you do some in-depth reporting in the build-up to this trial. Um,
I think Uncle Dave did that already.
yes, he did, but I mean, you could do it better.
Could I? Could
Um,
I really?
I,
I
I mean,
mean,
you could. I don't know. So
I could write it better.
yeah. I apparently missed this last week when going through last week's Observer, but last week apparently Hiroshi Hase defeated Rick Rude for the WCW International World Title. And if you don't remember that, don't worry because not only did Rick Rude win it back this week, it never gets mentioned on American television.
Yeah, that
Obviously,
is
a very
correct.
important title change. All right.
Fair.
Now, remember when we mentioned Ron Head at the beginning of the show, when we mentioned him with the Thrillseekers, with the Dairy Queen incident that's coming up? So apparently, Ron Head, who is one of those, like, he's one of those inside wrestling fans that if you were around in the early 90s, you knew who he was. He spent a weekend in Smoky Mountain and he did ring announcing one night on a house show, and they did a gimmick where Tom Pritchard gave him a DDT on the floor and knocked him out. And so they treated him like Weekend at Bernie's and had him propped up in the chair. And like anytime he had to ring the bell, someone lifted up his arm and rang the bell for him and all that stuff.
That's hilarious.
Yes. Unfortunately, uh, Jim Cornette decided to not film that and put that on television. I don't know why, but yeah.
Tragic.
Do you believe in magic? And I hope you do. Oh, Lord. So you think The Undertaker had anything to say to Mike Santana?
I did he even recognize him?
Apparently they saw each other backstage
Huh.
near a camera.
Near a camp.
I mean, there was a camera there, and Undertaker talked to uh, him, so maybe.
Well, maybe we'll find out.
Yes. Yes, we will. Um, Let me see here. Anything else to talk about? Um, when does a dad joke become a daddy joke? As soon as he comes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yes. There we go. I thought I knew I could pop you at some point. Apparently, people are really fucking popping for the Undertaker and Javon Evans because like I'm just like scrolling down the fucking Twitter page and I'm every other post is the Undertaker and Javon Evans.
Well, good for that fucking idiot. Fucking idiot.
By the way, Denise Salcedo stole your comment because TNA's Twitter page tweeted out the Undertaker just chokeslammed the TNA World Champion, and Denise wrote, "Not a sentence I thought I'd read."
Garrett Kidney always on point with that DNA social media.
Yes. Apparently, 2 years ago today was when Twitter became X. And let's be honest, does anybody call this thing X?
Only cops. Only cops.
There you go. All right. I mean, I can't think of anything else to say. Like this, I guess we did almost go 2 hours, but still, you know, we definitely talked about this earlier, where we tend to, um, do all of our talking on the Monday show, and then when we record on Tuesday, it's like, yeah, we got nothing to talk about.
And yet, this is the most listened to show.
Yeah, go figure. Uh, um, okay, maybe this might explain why we never have a guest on the show. But John Walters just tweeted about being the veteran in the locker room. And we had him on the old podcast way back when he was doing a racist gimmick. And well, he either did the gimmick very well or it was not a gimmick.
Huh.
Yeah.
Former ROH Pure champion John Walters.
Yes. I can't remember what the name he used was. But
John
yeah.
Walters.
No, this was 2014. It wasn't Lucha Underground. It was like that MTV2 Lucha Libre show that they did. He was on doing a racist gimmick. I remember there was a skit where he was standing at the Mexico border because he was gonna put his fist
RJ
down
Brewer.
And like, yes. We had him on our show, and it was, oh my God. Even not more egregious, but not equally as egregious either. Something that's bad next week on NXT. And oh boy, like I imagine you're going to drive to Orlando for this or wherever NXT is next week. Ethan Page defends the NXT North American Championship against a former WWE Intercontinental Champion, a former WWE United States Champion, and a man who finished second in a Royal Rumble match. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Is that because you looked it up or because you figured it out?
I had already seen it.
Santino Marella.
Indeed. By the way, Raw and NXT were both within a half hour of my house this week, and I did podcasts with you during both of them.
Wait, you're not there right now?
Am not.
Huh. Interesting. And by the way, the Observer just posted the news that we broke an hour ago about Gabe Kidd.
Just technically, New Japan broke it.
Trae's got all the inside sources. Damn it! I imagine Walker Stewart was texting Trae during the show, telling him
we are mutual.
Gabe Kidd. Yeah. All right. Well, anywho, we can wrap things up here. I got to go to sleep because tomorrow's the one day a month where I get dragged kicking and screaming against my will into the office. So I'm not just waking up early to watch G1. All right. So thank you all for listening. Hope you all enjoyed the show. And we'll talk to you again in 7 days.
OhMyGodcast.com. Bye.